Welcome to Brands Hatch and the 2019 Mini Festival, celebrating 60 years of Mini. We are here broadcasting live on Facebook, so let's get on with the first race of the day. Let's go racing.
Thank you, Michelle, for that introduction. And 60 years of Minis. Where do you start? You start with the tip of the iceberg, the JCW Mini Challenge. The cars are on track. We had a race yesterday. We'll try and fill you in on the story of yesterday's race and the season so far. But glorious weather here at Brands Hatch for our opening. We've got 2 races per class for the Mini Challenge cars. We're going to showcase all of those for you today. And what better weather, massive crowd. On my way to the circuit today, everywhere I went past, there were Minis parked up waiting for the gates to open. And I'm talking 5-10 miles away. Absolutely incredible feeling coming to this festival today. So really great to be a part of it. And we've got the JCW cars on track, ready for the first of our races, their second race of the weekend. We've already seen drama this weekend as the championship lead, I believe, has changed now. It's only a single point separating James Gornall and Nathan Harrison. Nathan had a slight lead coming in, but the race yesterday didn't really go the way that he wanted. Having said that, he completed the podium. So, you know, how you can say a weekend's not going the way you want when you get a podium finish, I don't know. But Nathan drops the championship lead by a single point to James Gornall, the earlier in the season championship leader. Yesterday's race, though, was more than being about just those 2 drivers. We had Ben Palmer, who led the race for 12 laps. James Gornall got into second place from lap 1, took the lead on lap 13. Dan Zelos moved through as well. Dan Zelos, a driver that's gaining some momentum in the championship at the moment, and he went through into second. James Gornall taking the win from Dan Zelos. Nathan Harrison in third. Lewis Brown was fourth. And in 5th position, Ben Palmer ahead of Rory Cuff. So very, very competitive. We've got some drivers there. Just looking at number 7, that's Jack Mabin, who went off in the early stages of the race. And Jack, the man from Northamptonshire, just 18 years of age. You've got a good age demographic in JCW Mini Racing, in fact, all the way through Mini Challenge. But we're looking at the front row of the grid. Yellow and black car, regular viewers will know, regular fans will know that is James Gornall. Dan Zelos in the Evergreen Tyres car alongside him. Then it's Nathan Harrison in the black and red 27. Yellow and black again for Lewis Brown in the 39 car. Then we've got Ben Palmer. He's in the black and fluorescent colours. To his outside in blue is Rory Cuff. That completes the front 3 rows of the grid as we look at them. They've already done their outline. I don't think anyone's had any problems. We've got the 5-second border getting ready to go. Gornall looking to build on a single point championship lead here. Remember, 20 minutes of action is underway. Gornall gets away well. We look down the field. Now, some of the drivers were predicting there might be some issues when they get into paddock. 30-plus cars here at Brands Hatch. You can see great shot as they go uphill, over the brow, downhill, and going into the lead. It's Zelos, Dan Zelos challenging for the lead around the outside. Gornall on the inside line. Lewis Brown in yellow and black challenging for 3rd place. But Zelos runs out of grip and gets punished for that. He's down in 5th place, and Nathan Harrison comes through into lead position. Harrison, if you've watched any of the previous racing this year, will know did a superb Ayrton Senna style lap at Donington Park earlier in the year to come through. I think it was 10th on the grid into the lead by the end of lap 1, using every single corner. But it's Harrison from Gornall. Then in car number 2, Ben Palmer in 3rd place. Lewis Brown next up. Dan Zelos, you can't blame him for being brave on that first couple of corners, but he's in 5th. The significant thing, of course, for Dan Zelos is that there's 20 minutes. There's a lot of time to be able to come through, make his mark on the race and challenge as the race continues. Very briefly there saw Keenan Dole in the treble 7 car. He starts at the back. The grid here based on the finishing positions from yesterday's racing, and that means that the guys who had non-finishes start at the back of the field with a huge amount of work to do. One of those that we'll probably look at over the course of the race is Harry Gooding in the 56 car, who I know was really frustrated. Had a quick chat with Harry this morning, and he's got a lot of work to do. Overtaking, not impossible here at Brands Hatch. A lot of the drivers will say, though, that it is a little bit of a premium. But Lewis Brown yesterday told me that you can pop down a gear and go for the odd lunge. He doesn't like the word lunge because it tends to not be a word that the clerk of the course might particularly like to hear. But we may see some of that as the race pattern begins to settle down. Jack Davidson having a look at Rory Cuff now as they go out of Paddock Hill Bend through Halewoods. The young Scot in the 21 car, the chaser of those two. Rory fairly magnanimous about his race that he had yesterday. Didn't perhaps work out the way he wanted. Jack Davidson in the 21 car, the youngster from Scotland, the former Fiesta Junior champion, busy chasing Rory Cuff, who was 12th in the championship last year, achieving a best of 5th place. That was at Snetterton. Lewis Brown coming under pressure from Dan Zelos, who pops down the inside. Zelos found the gap there. It's a classic Brands Hatch overtake on the exit of McLaren Corner, but Lewis Brown will stick his nose back down the inside. He can't do so without going on the grass. So back up into 4th place goes Dan Zelos, and he might well work with Lewis Brown to try and close down on the number 2 car of Ben Palmer, who is at the moment on for a podium position. Well, I said they might work together, and the 445 car is starting to pull away, in actual fact, from Lewis Brown. So a little bit further down the order, and we pick up there briefly with James McIntyre, the Green Reaper, as he's known, in the 47 car, but it's James Gornall still being harried at the moment by Ben Palmer in that 3rd place, and Dan Zelos has caught Ben Palmer. So for my money, Zelos looks the racy one of this group. There's a certain amount of tyre management that the guys are going to have to do over the course of the meeting, and remember, this is race 2 of 3 20-minute races, so it's a massive points haul in prospect for these drivers, but also they've got to manage their resources, manage themselves as well. Talking to people in the paddock, a couple of people have got sniffles and stuff like that, and there's talk of, in the other classes, of maybe drivers not racing. But anyway, more of that anon as they go up the hill into Druids once again. Nathan Harrison, superb start for him. Obviously very happy on cold tyres, if you can call them cold tyres in this weather, and it's blazing sunshine at the moment. James Gornall second. The points differential, incidentally, the points championship and points situation, quite difficult to not explain, but difficult certainly to do the mathematics here in the commentary box through the day, because not only do you get points for finishing, but you also get points for fastest lap and qualifying. And what's unusual about that, I hear you say, well, Mini Challenge give points to the top 6 fastest drivers. So we won't get that information here from TSL, and if you're watching on TSL Live as well, you'll know that. So we can't give you an exact championship position, particularly when there's only 1 point at the moment coming into today between James Gornall and Nathan Harrison. Harrison, who's come up from 3rd on the grid to lead this race in the early stages. Field beginning to get a little bit spread out as we watch them come along the main straight here at Brands Hatch. Super season we've had so far of JCW Mini Racing. This is round 10 of the championship, and having a look there, Jack Mabin in the 7 car putting pressure on James Griffith. Jack Mabin, who runs with the Go Motorsport management team, was first at Alton Park this year. 2nd season of racing, comes from Brackley, but back with the battle now between Dan Zelos trying to close in on the number 2 of Ben Palmer. So Palmer holding sway at the moment. This is going to take a little bit of pressure off James Gornall in 2nd place ahead of that battle. Watch for Harrison and Gornall to go through. At the moment, they're not getting away from Ben Palmer in 3rd. Now, just as Zelos was starting to apply the pressure in that evergreen green and blue 445 car, now we've got Lewis Brown in the yellow and black machine coming up on him. Both of those guys, of course, graduates of the Ginetta Junior Championship. Zelos looks to the inside. Now goes to the outside line. This is not about a pass here at this stage, but he's going to be looking for momentum to maybe slot through on the inside of Ben Palmer on the way into clearways. Palmer's wise to that, keeps it tight in the number 2 car, not blocking, but certainly just occupying the piece of racetrack where The 445 car wanted to come through. The East Anglian driver busy chasing at the moment. Lewis Brown is next up. Rory Cuff is not that far away. Jack Davidson, the next car through there in 21. Following Jack Davidson, it's Jim Lukes. Said I'd get that wrong. Jim Laux, I beg his pardon. He did tell me that in pit lane before the racing. Jim Laux, who is there. And Harrison still leading. Who's got the fastest lap? Harrison quickest with a 51.777. And that's quicker than the top guys were running yesterday. So conditions are very agreeable as they come along Cooper Straight into the left-hander at Surtees. And again, Dan Zelos was having a little look as he went into that corner. There's Rory Cuff in the number 12 car, still there at the moment in 6th position, trying to join the battle, the top 5, just away from him. He's at the moment on his own. 12 minutes remaining on the clock as they come across the line here at Brands Hatch. They're settling down into a nice pattern, and everybody here, particularly the front runners, will be mindful that they've got another race to go. The next race will be the partially reversed grid touring car style. Through shot goes 112 in green. That's Neil Trotter running with the LDR Lawrence Davey Racing team. Lawrence himself a former championship contender in Mini Challenge, so well versed in actually all things racing. Here he comes, being chased by Harry Gooding, who's working his way through the order. And in the mix there as well, the 24 car of, I was going to say Matt Rainbow. It was 24 Matt Rainbow last time out, but Kyle Reid running that car. As off the circuit goes James Griffith. James Griffith out, the very distinctive number 5 livery parked up. Hopefully will get moved because that could mean a safety car deployment. So things settling down rather nicely here for race number 1. It looks like Harrison, as we now have, now are we getting the safety car deployed? A quick look out of the comms box. Yes, we are. That car, they tried to move it. He's actually reversing now uphill. I think we might get the safety car boards back in. Okay, in fact, the safety car has now been deployed at the bottom of Cooper Straight, and he's out on track. But it might be a short safety car because I reckon that that machine is okay. James Griffith is obviously okay, and I reckon the machine is probably all right, but it does calm things down and it closes things up. It's going to change the complexion of the race entirely, where we had the lead group of 5 with a little bit of a lead over Rory Cuff in 6th place, and then a gap back to Jack Davidson. Davidson started 7th. That's where he is at the moment. I just need to check on where Harry Gooding is as well in the 56, coming up from 23rd on the grid. So Harry Gooding, probably our highest climber so far in the black, blue and orange 56 car. He's up to 18th place, just ahead of Kyle Reid. Kyle, the reigning pro champion, moving up into this class this weekend. Also an ex-Scottish mini champion as well, with, I think, the most number of wins to races started, Kyle, who works out on the oil rigs. And there he is in the 24 car, just going through shot, followed by the 46 machine, which is Stuart Gibbs. Stuart having an 18th place finish, actually best finish of the season for Stuart yesterday. So either Brands Hatch to his liking or starting to get a bit of momentum onto his championship. So there is Jack Mabin, a lot further down than he would like to be, Jack Mabin. He's been a regular. Every finish that Jack Mabin has had has been in the top 10. He started the season with 3rd place at Alton Park, won race 2, then had a retirement in the opening race at Snet, Silverstone GP, as we're getting ready to go racing now. That was very well managed by Nathan Harrison, who I thought James Gornall might have been closer to him on the restart, but Harrison is away. Let's see how the podium positions may well change as they go down into Paddock Hill Bend for the first time on the restart, with just past half distance now, so the drivers have had a little bit of a breather. But I'll tell you what, the workshop today is going to be very hard for them. Now we've got a challenge on because Ben Palmer is looking very keen here at James Gornall. Palmer looking the stronger of the top 3 drivers at the moment. Dan Zelos watching, then it's Lewis Brown still there from Rory Cuff, out of Graham Hill Bend. They're going to have to be mindful of track limits there. I didn't see too many track limits penalties yesterday on the timing screen, so the driver's obviously very well briefed, very well disciplined as well. So Jiggy Gornall perhaps not looking as happy as he did yesterday, greeted by the green flags as they come through Clark Curve onto the Brabham Straight here. And mega crowd here. Remember, everyone's here to look at all things Mini, not just the racing. So we've got shows and entertainments going on all the way around the track. But our focus, of course, very much on what's going on the Indy circuit at the moment. Dan Zelos closing in again. Lewis Brown in that 39 car, busy trying to close in as well. Lincolnshire-based Lewis Brown, 20 years of age. We've got some seriously quick youngsters in this championship. He was the 2017 Ginetta GT5 champion, Lewis Brown. Twice runner-up in Ginetta Junior. A major talent in the car, and works hard with his dad, running under the Lawrence Davey awning. And there was talk that he might have gone Ginetta Super Cup racing, but his mind was elsewhere. And you know, we may well see him racing in these cars on the British Touring Car Programme again next season, which is the plan, of course, for the JCWs, and that's going to be really good to see. Jack Davidson goes through, followed by Jim Laux. Then it's Tom Rawlings next up, ex-Junior Rally Championship driver, and also raced in Monoposto. This is his first race on the Indy circuit here, as we still focus on the four-car group running for second place. I've got to say, Harrison looks pretty confident at the moment. The fastest lap of the race is with Dan Zelos now, though, 51.722. There is Zelos in the Evergreen Tyres car, putting pressure on. Looks on the inside line of Ben Palmer. Can't quite go through. The Maidenhead youngster, Ben Palmer, stays in front. He was the MGZR class champion a few seasons ago, raced in the Clio Cup Series as well, and had 2 wins, of course, as we mentioned, on the Grand Prix circuit at Silverstone. We've got a black and white flag going out. Just looking at my timing screen, see if we can pick up and see who that is for. But I can't at the moment. I suspect it will be track limits because I haven't seen contact. So the race leader is still Nathan Harrison. Second position, Jiggy Gornall. Third place is Ben Palmer, and Palmer coming under pressure from Dan Zelos, with Lewis Brown in yellow and black there in the 39 car right behind. Then Rory Cuff, who Rory can't seem to just make any ground at the moment on Brown, but we'll see whether Lewis will maybe think about defending from Rory Cuff. So heading towards the last quarter of this race. Harrison's last lap, a 51.7. So Nathan Harrison, the race leader, has just set his personal best lap of the race on the, not on this lap, but on the previous lap. As Zelos now gets a good run. He was wide into Paddock Hill Bend. He's gaining momentum, but he might be forced to go to the outside line as he was on the opening lap. Doesn't go side by side. Ben Palmer, very wily stuff from Palmer. He maybe knows where the tricks are for the 445 car. He's having a look again. Wide line could afford momentum into Cooper Straight, but Lewis Brown is there as well. In the yellow and black, that could be track limits for Dan Zelos if he repeats it, but he's on the outside line. Now they come up into the left-hander at Surtees. Are we going to hang on side by side? And Dan Zelos knew that he needed that line to hang on to the inside as they came into McLaren. That was a great move by Dan Zelos into third place, onto another podium, and now Rory Cuff in blue. He's coming up into the mix as well. Cuff side by side with Lewis Brown. I tell you what, the others are coming on song as the race. Maybe we've got some tyres going off, but that was certainly a great move by Dan Zelos to get back into P3. We said he was the fastest man on track, really getting to grips with the minis, as Jack Davidson looks to make a move up the inside line as well now, and goes through. Davidson past Rory Cuff. Great move from him as well. Jim Laux is in behind too, the East Anglian-based driver, having a very good run here, Laux. I'm going to have to check my stats to see what his best finish so far of the season is. 8th place for Laux, so he's going to match that. So good consistent running for him, but potentially if he can get past Rory Cuff in the closing stages, could get a season's best result. The guy I'm talking about, the black blue with yellow pinstripes, the third of the 3 cars we're looking at. Jack Davidson, though, the head of that trio. Nathan Harrison looking very, very comfortable out front at the moment from Jiggy Gornall, who'll be, both of those guys are going to be thinking about the cliched bigger picture in this race, to be perfectly honest. And they know that whilst there is a dropped score in the championship, James Gornall is already on a 0 drop score, so he won't want to lose any more. Nathan Harrison loses 11 points, so if he was further back, he could maybe afford to have a non-finish, but he'll want to carry on as we carry on with Rory Cuff, the youngster from Henley-on-Thames. Still racing well. Be disappointed to have lost that place to Jack Davidson. Jack running with Carl Reed this weekend. And in the Pro-Am class, they've got Hannah Chapman running under their awning as well. Another driver that they met through the Scottish Mini Cooper Cup. And Hannah having a good on-track finish yesterday, but having a penalty, which obviously she'll serve out by losing a couple of positions from her actual finishing position yesterday into today's grid. So Davidson up ahead of Cuff. Harrison, though, still the race leader. There is James Gornall, Jiggy Gornall in second position, the former British GT champion, coming back to racing. Some really big names in this championship, you have to say. It's it's a who's who of aspiring racing drivers wanting to make their way up towards. Ultimately, most of them are looking forward to being on the British Touring Car package next year. A lot of drivers racing for fun and enjoying themselves, but anyone with ambition, of course, is going to want to go maybe GT, International GT, World Touring Cars, but certainly British Touring Cars with the big audience they've got. The middle car here, that's Callum Newsham. Newsham, of course, the son of Dave Newsham, ex-touring car driver. I've known Dave since the Legends Cars days, and he was an ex-Speedway rider as well back in the day on 2 wheels. And Dave engineers the car for Callum under the Lawrence Davey awning. And Callum was a little bit fed up with his race results yesterday. Back with the leader, though. There is Nathan Harrison leading. Second place is James Gornall, and Harrison is clear. The gap on the last lap, 1.872 seconds. Only 2 minutes to go. Harrison should have this race in the bag. Harrison's statistics coming into this race: 2 wins, 4 seconds, 2 third places. He's about to add a third win to it as he crosses the line. Let's hope that's not the curse of the commentator for him. He'll certainly be cursing me if that is the case. Still Gornall second, Zelos third, Ben Palmer still in 4th position. But here is Harrison up to Druids. Long climb uphill. If you've not been to Brands Hatch, do pay a visit and do the walk right the way around the circuit, which you can do. On a day like this, there's nothing better than watching some racing and watching it from different points around the circuit as he goes along Cooper Straight. How appropriately named is that for this weekend? Up into Surtees, left-hander, and then they'll turn right into McLaren, which continues into Clearways. Potential passing opportunity there, as we've seen. Dan Zelos is not afraid to make a move. He's not close enough at the moment to James Gornall to be able to put the pressure on him. Across the line goes the race leader. Is the gap going to go out on this lap? Zelos still with the fastest lap, and indeed the gap first to second, 2.5 seconds here at Brands Hatch. We're looking at the second place car, James Gornall up ahead of Dan Zelos. So Harrison, will he have wanted to have been in more of a race than this? I don't know. He had the complexity, if you want to call it that, of the safety car, which he dealt with superbly on the restart, and I'm sure he likes a bit of wheel-to-wheel racing, but he'll be happy to take the championship lead back. Now, it's all going to depend on who has the fastest lap, and remember, the top 6 fastest drivers get bonus points. But putting that aside, it looks to me as if Nathan Harrison here should take or retake the championship lead. The clock is running down, the checkered flag is being readied here, and it is a win for 27. There's the checker. Nathan Harrison takes the win. Jiggy Gornall second, and under pressure from Dan Zelos. Zelos closed in on him during the closing stages of the race. It was Ben Palmer who came next, and following Ben Palmer, it was Lewis Brown who came through. So Lewis Brown finishing in 5th place. Jack Davidson in 6th. Jack making up 1 position on his starting place here. But Nathan Harrison, the winner of that one, the 22-year-old from Oxford. And remember, most of the drivers, we do have older drivers in the championship. I was looking down, actually, we haven't got Lee Patterson here this weekend. I'll talk about Lee in race 2, because I'm sure we'll have time, and I think Anthony Williams is going to be joining us for race 2 as well. But there is Nathan Harrison, who should I reckon, reclaim the championship lead with that. And that's good momentum for Nathan as well, because that is 3 race wins out of the last 4. And drivers will look at that, getting their championship routines into some sort of rhythm. Marshall's obviously enjoyed it. A big thank you to all of our marshals and medics that do such great work. Can't go motor racing without them, and they're a superb, very knowledgeable bunch of people. And remember, if you're watching this, if you got hooked into our coverage today and you want to get involved in racing, marshalling is a superb way to be able to do just that. As I said, absolutely superb bunch. And look at the crowd that we've got here, many of whom will be new fans to motor racing after today, who have come just to watch the minis. It's amazing how many people that you talk to about the racing, and people not realising that there's a festival of all things mini that goes on, and it brings a lot of people into the circuit, and I guarantee a lot of them are going to come back, particularly when you get such good racing and also such superb weather. Callum Newsham, they're in the, I wanted to call it, I haven't said this for a while, in the Norscott vending machine, which is what we used to call his dad's Legends car. I've not commentated on Dave Newsham since his days in Clio's. But good to be able to churn that one out again. The 77 car there, the green and white machine, that's Lewis Gaylor. Now, where did Lewis come through? He was 18th in that one. Lewis Gaylor started 14th, so has lost a little bit of time. Let's give you the rundown of the result of that first race for us here on our stream. It was Nathan Harrison taking the win. Second place goes to James Gornall from Dan Zelos. Dan also getting the fastest lap. Next up was Ben Palmer. 5th goes to Lewis Brown. Jack Davidson was next from Rory Cuff. Jim Laux was in 8th. Then in 9th place, the 88 car, Tom Rawlings. Then we had James McIntyre, followed by an 11th position, the 17 car, Brad Hutchison, making his seasonal debut in the Formula this weekend. Callum Newsham was next up, ahead of Richard Newman. 14th place going to another driver seasonal debut, William Newnham, to say it properly. Then we have Harry Gooding in 15th, so Harry made some good progress through the field. Next up was Neil Trotter in the 112. Keenan Dole up into 17th place. Lewis Gaylor dropping back a little bit. Then it was 46, Stuart Gibbs. Stuart in 19th from Max Bird, not having a happy weekend. Problems with his turbo yesterday. Jack Mabin 21st. Then it was Scott Jeffs, who was 15th last year. And following Scott, I think problems for the 99 Josh Stanton and also Kyle Reid, who was a couple of laps adrift at the end. So that's the way they finished, and I think we've probably covered most of the drivers, but Nathan Harrison taking a superb win from Jiggy Gornall and Dan Zelos, who got the fastest lap. Championship-wise, try and get an update for you before race 3 of the weekend, which is, I think, our first race after the lunch break here, and it's scheduled for around about 2:30. And obviously we've got lots of other racing to be featured between now and then. As we look down into the pit lane, it was a superb sight this morning with all the cars lined up facing the crowds here at Brands Hatch. All the drivers were there as well, busy signing autographs and chatting to the race fans about their various experiences. So all adds very much to the atmosphere that we have here at Brands Hatch. So a good early start to the proceedings. There is Nathan. Now, what always puzzles me about these drivers, look at Nathan Harrison's hair, which is absolutely spot on, and he's just spent 45 minutes in a sweaty race car, and yet his hair looks absolutely spot on. And I don't quite know how they managed that, but he has impeccably presented. So Nathan, Jiggy and Dan making their way down to the podium here at Brands Hatch, and they won't be picked up by Michelle, but I think Chris Dawes is going to circuit co-commentator this weekend with Mark Werrell. Will be doing the honours, and we will hear from them. They have to make their way right the way down pit lane, and then pretty much Grand Prix style go through the up the staircase, round past a couple of offices, and then through into the podium, which is opposite. Actually, it's not opposite a grandstand as such, but there will be a little bit of a reception for the three drivers that are there. There is Chris Dawes. And we'll hand over to Chris Dawes and hear what the drivers have got to say.
Well done, Dan. There's got to be a place I can stand out of the way, but I'm trying my best. So the big trophy, Rhea Beecham from Mini Challenge handed over. 18, James Gorno. A great fight in second place there. But the victory was taken by number 27, Nathan Harrison. Big beaming smile as he came through from the holding area there. You can tell that he's worked hard for that one. And of course we have the other trophy, which is the rookie of the race, and that is Dan Zelos. So as they move their way up onto the top step together, position for the photographs. And we'll just let everybody take the photographs down the bottom. Oh, and we got the draw for the reverse grid. As Rhea just shuffles the pack. It's like you've done this before, Rhea. Nathan's going to pick the number that is going to determine the reverse grid. Number 6. Nothing like making life harder for yourself. Well done. Right, we're going to dive on up. Nathan, congratulations. What a victory. I mean, that was all about getting yourself at the start, but you then had to manage the restart as well.
Yeah, no, we had a good start. And from there, it was just about keeping it consistent every single lap. I think literally looking on my dash, I think we was within a tenth every single lap. And yeah, the safety car come out. We had a bit of a gap, and I thought, right, need to time this right. And thankfully we did. And that gave us a fresh air then just to get on with it and keep it consistent.
You make that sound so easy, keep it consistent. In this mini JCW racing with the amount of pressure, that's easier said than done. But I was mighty impressed with that restart. You went very early at Surtees. I don't see that very often.
Yeah, no, I timed it right. I backed them all up quite a lot, so I had that big gap, and then that was it. Just put my foot in and off we go.
It was. You were looking to the right, so you saw the safety car had gone.
Yeah, and that was it. Like I said, I timed it right, and it paid off, thankfully.
You've just drawn for the reverse grid. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, 6. It's going to be hard. I think all of us, we'll be going all for it. It's going to be very, very difficult, but hopefully we can just pick them off one by one and hopefully get another podium.
Well done, great victory. Second place, James, I mean, you were really hounding him in the early stages, but that restart, he just got the jump, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he got on the gas maybe a tenth of a second earlier. That was all it was, and he obviously got probably 4 car lengths. And then I was just trying to bring it home, not take any silly risks. Car's still a bit loose. We're going to work a little bit harder on the setup.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then we'll be a little bit faster next time.
And I guess the other point being is after that restart is that you had your mirrors full of a gaggle of cars behind you.
Yeah, to begin with, and then when I did pull a gap, I relaxed a little bit too much, shall we say, and then Dan started to catch. He was very fast once Ben had released him, so maybe don't relax quite so much next time. Good idea. Great job, though. Great second place. Dan Zelos, well done. A great third. I mean, you were hounding. I mean, initially it was Ben Palmer that you were just hounding. Eventually managed to make the move. And then suddenly it was Jiggy that you were all over the back of. You were determined to go higher.
Yeah, definitely. I was like, it's not over yet. I got pole. I can get this. But no, me and Ben had a great race. He was very hard to overtake. Me and Ben got respect for each other, and we're racing for each other in the Rookie Cup as well. So there's that on the line as well. I would like to have got Jiggy at the end. I could see he was getting a little bit nervous with a few sideways moments. But yeah, didn't have quite enough time. But yeah, we've got the reverse grid, which puts me in front of these two, which helps me out a bit.
Absolutely, and I think you had the fastest lap as well. I don't know if it ended that way, but it certainly was.
Yeah, and that's an extra few points in the championship as well. So yeah, it's very close at the minute. So I get a good start. I'll try and not get sideways in the first lap. I seem to have a bit of a knack for that at the minute. And yeah, and we'll go from there.
Fantastic. Well done. Great job, guys. So that is your top 3 from the Mini Challenge JCW, and we'll see them back out again a little bit later.
Well, what a fantastic first race for the JCWs. Great result for Nathan Harrison there as well. We've got more for you. Join us again live on the Facebook stream, 11:50 for the Cooper S.